Alright guys, got back from Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina last night, really late. Fantastic 3 days. All over my Facebook I posted pictures of the con. I got it set to where when I post something on Facebook it'll post it to Twitter too. Maybe you can find it there. It's Howler Mouse. But anyway, a fantastic 3 days. I'm going to be shooting maybe 3 videos to show all the stuff I got. And for a change, I'm going to ask you guys to thumb it up, because whenever you do videos in parts 1, 2, and 3, the views kind of, stagger down as you go through the chapters there. And I got a lot of really good stuff. And in the last video that I ended up doing, I'm going to show my signed books and tell some stories from the con. This video is going to be the comic books. The next one will probably be like the magazines, the graphic novels, and things like that. And of course, like I said, the third video will be the signed comics and some stories and stuff. Had a really good time. Now, it is like late on a Monday night. It is raining outside. I've got every light in the house downstairs on. And I'm not shooting this up in the comic book room because I got stuff all over the floor. I need to catalog it and get it put up and start cleaning this house up a little bit where I've been gone and stuff, right? So, now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about what I got at Heroes Con. I got 3 good stacks here, right? First of all, we're going to do with the Marvel stack. All of these books I got for $1, maybe a few for $2 and less. The last day of the convention at Heroes Con, if you can just hang out and hold off on some things till about 1 or 2 o'clock, you'll find quarter boxes and 50-cent boxes. And of course, all this stuff I ended up getting deals on. They might be dollar books, but maybe I got 13 books and gave them 10 bucks. Things like that. So the whole thing is kind of cheap. And of course, my phone, every time I do a video, my phone goes off, right? First thing I couldn't believe I found for $1 was Labyrinth #1 as the number 2 and 3 now. This is really, due to the David Bowie fans out there and the fans of this movie of Labyrinth. And this book was a 3-issue miniseries that came out when the movie came out in the late 80s, 86 maybe. Yeah, 86 I think. And there was 3 issues, and they're really hard to find, believe it or not, because it's not your normal comic book fans that grab this thing. I didn't grab it, despite being a Bowie fan back in the day, and a huge Jim Henson fan, but because the new universe was coming out, and I had a budget, and I wanted all the #1s and stuff, right? So 2 more to go on a budget. Grab this. I love this cartoon when it came out in 90 or 91. And this is a sweet, sweet Charles Vess cover of Pirates of Dark Water, #9. A lot of this stuff was just to kind of fill in gaps and stuff, right? Now, the Marvel Fanfare #25, not a real valuable book, but it's a little bit hard to find in the wild compared to the rest of the series. Again, I don't want to make it sound like it's super rare. But basically, what the reason is that the Dave Sim Cerebus fans will grab this book because there's, 4 or 5 pinups that Dave Sim did of Marvel superheroes proper. It was Cyclops, Moon Knight, a few other people. Let's just go ahead and show it here. Why not? Why not? But great, so Dave Sim gave us some Howard the Duck. He gave us some Shang-Chi, or Moon Knight, and if you read it, you have, he has the character the Roach, who, he spoofs the Marvel characters by having the Roach turn into these characters, and we have a Cyclops. I hope this thing is focusing. It does not look good. And of course, this one cracks me up. He drew Iron Man Tony as a drunk, Sim style. So yeah, if you see that one, kind of grab it if you're a Cerebus fan. This camera is all over the place. Might have something to do with my battery. Alright, then I got this because you just needed a home, but we got X-Men 159 from 1982, and this is Sienkiewicz when he was still drawn in a style that's reminiscent of Neil Adams before he went off into his, I don't know what you would call it, an Art Deco style that gives me the same feeling as when I look at a Geiger, H.R. Geiger picture. But just good stuff, and plus it's a freaking vampire story. Dracula's in it, coming after Storm and stuff. I was like, I cannot believe that was sitting there. Upgrade for me, first appearance of Firestar proper in the X-Men universe, X-Men 193. Could not believe I got these so cheap. Got this one, X Factor #9. It's a replacement copy, even though it's direct market. doesn't have the UPC symbol. That's fine. Because I actually had a stack of comics back when, what was I, sophomore in high school. I had a stack of comics in my closet, at the bottom of them, kind of stacking up. And I had a cat have kittens on a few of my comics. And, as gross as it sounds, I kept this one. It still has the blood stains on it. So now I have one I can touch and keep out of the bag and not feel gross. Then I found these for an excellent deal. One of the places that, one of the vendors, they had trades for $3 soft cover, back up, wrong table. They had their trades at $5 for a soft cover, $8 for a hardback. Well, the Sunday where if you hold off and get the deals, they had it to where buy one get one free. If you got an $8 trade hardback, you get an $8 hardback for free. Buy one get one free and so on. Well, they didn't have anything I really needed, so I said, how about I get this soft cover hardback of Melmoth Cerebus that I'll show in another video, and I just get equivalent of some comic books. And I ended up getting my fill-in issues for X-Men The Hidden Years. Did not know I needed number 2 till I got home, so I have all of the series except number 2. This series by John Byrne and Tom Palmer is fantastic, because what a lot of people may not know, unless you've been collecting for a while, is that X-Men went into reprints in the 60s and 70s. So there were reprints, and then around issue, I think it was 94, after Giant Size X-Men, they started becoming the X-Men again and turned into Uncanny X-Men with new stories. So John Byrne did this series in the early 90s, mid-90s, whatever it was, to fill in the gaps for the hidden years of the X-Men where they were in reprints. What were the adventures they were having. So it's just some fantastic stuff. Number 9 with some Fantastic Four. Byrne returns to it. He started playing around with the Phoenix. We got some Sentinels. Little foreshadowing. Has some subplots going on. Fantastic Angel. Death Be Not Proud. Yeah, I love characters like that. I don't know if that's a Wendigo or not. I'll have to read the book. Kind of savage. Craven coming after the Beast, which was genius. I don't know about the quality. Come on, focus. And, we got our Polaris and our Havoc back when Neil Adams was touching on them. That one is really, that's a busy cover for Byrne there. It took me a minute. And then we have a spoof of Fantastic Four number 1 where monsters dwell. And then the second to the last issue where he just kind of goes all out. So those were really cool to get. Now this was an upgrade. Roy Thomas was there, but his line was just too long. I did end up sitting in on a panel that he was doing about All-Star Squadron with some other guys. But this is an upgrade. This is one of my favorite comics from a kid. I still have the original. That was probably my stepdad's. But this is an upgrade, of course, because I've read that thing. It's yellowed. It wasn't bagged and boarded when it came out. But this is What If Conan Walked the Earth Today, which is a fantastic story by Roy Thomas. And if I remember correctly, the red-headed girl, Dani, I think is her name. She's a cab driver that ends up helping with Conan. Roy Thomas was dating her at the time, and she ended up becoming Dani Thomas, who has co-written a lot of things with him over the years and became his wife. And what always got me, and if I could just get the balls to ask him, is sort of like, okay, so you're dating this girl and you let her sleep with Conan in the book. Okay. Yeah, the 70s. Alright, these were upgrades. Got these for $1, both of them, $1. Omega number 1, which is just a fantastic Steve Gerber story that was 20 years ahead of its time. I always mean to do a review of this. Just a fantastic story. And then, what is that? Number 2, 1 and 2. They had to have a home, and I needed them. It was an upgrade. Got this. This is an upgrade also. Thor 207. This is part of the secret crossover, which I did a video like 5 or 6 years ago explaining it with Marvel in 3 books from Marvel, 1 from DC, where Steve Englehart, Gary Conway, Lynn Wein, who am I forgetting? He's right on the tip of my tongue. Well, anyway, they put themselves through the book. This book takes place in Vermont, Halloween night, where it's a real town, and Rutledge, Vermont. It's a real town, and there's a real parade that goes through there once a year where everybody dresses up like superheroes. I hear it's been a tradition for like 50 years now. Some people went. They said it wasn't quite what it used to be. word of mouth, I don't know. But this is part of that. Another one is in Bizarre Adventures, Justice League, and it seems like there's another book, but that's not what this is about. But this is an upgrade. Fantastic Gil Kane cover on this one, just fantastic. But the comic book creators who were all doing one of those books and stuff got together, and there's a plot going through where you follow the creators. They put themselves in the book, and you follow them through it. And then I could not believe this. I was flat out paid $1 a piece. I don't think I tried to get a good deal on these. I just went ahead and paid $1. But these are the Marvel Tales. I have no idea if these are worth any money, but these reprint some of the harder to find books from the Silver Age. These came out in the late 60s, I believe. And I could not believe I found these. Just fantastic stuff. Ditko, I think they reprint about 2 comics a piece in them. Now this one has Daredevil, I want to say number 2 in it. And also it has the first X-Men book that I read when I was a kid. That was my stepdad's. I think it's X-Men number 3 with the first appearance of the Blob. Now I would love to pop this thing open, but I don't want a long video going on here. But I remember as a kid, I'd read the Superman books and bullets, fell off of them, and you had, Batman swinging around. But when I got a hold of that X-Men number 3, the Blob was working at a carnival, and the X-Men approach him, I guess, to actually join the X-Men or something. I can't wait to reread this. But old Duke there looks at him, and he's talking about how, they're not that tough, and he reached into a wood stove, pulled out a, burning piece of wood with embers on the end of it, put his hand around it, and put it out. As a kid growing up in the mountains who knew how hot a wood stove was and felt that heat and everything, I was like, ooh, he's tough. I was like 4 or 5. I was like about 4 years old. I remember it like, ooh, he's tough. And, of course, another one. Marvel Superheroes. What did I call them? Marvel Superheroes. I probably called them the wrong. Yeah, Marvel Tales and Marvel Superheroes. So, yeah, it's fantastic find. Okay, now going on with the DC stuff here. I found some great stuff that if I knew, I'd forgotten, but I found there was a big run of this Karate Kid book that came out in the 70s during the DC explosion when they were just like saturating the market, and some of the stories and stuff were kind of, not up to par, if you will, kind of dull and boring and stuff. But anyway, this is Karate Kid number 15. I only got this one out of the whole series that I saw. They didn't have a number 1, but it's a Commandy crossover. Apparently, I think Karate Kid tries to go back to the future, and he ends up in the wrong future with Commandy. And I flipped through, and I was there, and it was when I was at the convention. I was like, yeah, I have to get this because I just found the other Commandy that's part 2 of this. I'll show in a minute. But the last page of this is freaking awesome because they end up at a drive-in, and at the angle you see the cars and stuff looking at the at the screen, and it says Enter the Dragon, and it's Commandy wearing a suit, and they're like, look, it's Commandy with Enter the Dragon. So I was like, yeah, I have to find out. And of course here's part 2 of it, Commandy number 58. This might be an upgrade. I may have just, I don't know, forgot about it. Freedom Fighters. This Freedom Fighters book is actually kind of cool. I have quite a few issues of it over the years. When you sit down, this book had quite the feel to it. Really cool book. It's an individual book. I've never had a comic that had the same kind of vibe in it, but it's around Christmas, and this evil elf, which cracked me up with the way they had him come around the corner, and they were like, it's an elf! And he's making these, action figures of the Justice League go after the Freedom Fighters. Well, I wanted this one because the next 2 issues after this was another secret crossover between Freedom Fighters and the Invaders over at Marvel. And they became the Freedom Fighters were actually the Crusaders in the Invaders. And then wait a minute, I got that wrong. Excuse me. I don't remember. I think they were both called the Crusaders. Yeah. I'm tired, guys. But anyway, this was the first appearance of the Crusaders, which were, basically the Invaders just kind of, redrawn in a way to where they can't get sued. So it was like a secret crossover where they gave homage to each other and stuff. So after years of thinking that I had never had the first part, after I had the first 2 parts, turns out they just pop up on the last page. And I think that was a jab at Marvel, because that's how Marvel would do. They would show a cameo, and then the next book would be the first appearance. So in my heart, the first appearance of Wolverine is actually Hulk 180 instead of 181, because he's in the last panel. Okay, I could not pass this up. One of my buddies had heard about Commandy, heard me talk about him, heard his dad talk about him. So I was like, I just saw some Commandy books, and I got that. and I had to grab this. He got number 1 for like $25, so I didn't feel bad for grabbing this one. But this is a sweet copy, just all glossy and tight, and looks fantastic of a number 4 there. Love that. I already have almost a full set of Command anyway. I have all the Kirby issues and stuff. Chipping away at the Hellblazer. Nothing fancy here. Just a Warren Ellis issue. Okay. Upgrade for the first appearance of Ambush Bug in this DC Comics Presents Superman vs. Doom Patrol number 52. I always grab these if they're in good shape. This is probably like my 5th or 6th copy of Crisis number 1. UPC symbol on it, so that's the one. Those are the ones I like. And one of my favorite issues out of the whole series, Crisis number 9. Come on, camera, work with me, work with me. Just fantastic in this one. Okay, then I cannot believe these. I had to grab these. This was in a bunch where I got 13 books for $10, and I cannot believe they're sitting there. They're not mint, but they're tight and in pretty good shape. But Demon number 2 by Jack Kirby, and number 8, and I think I found those on the Sunday, the 3rd day, and I cannot believe they'd been in there, and I can only imagine what was in that box before I found these. So just a fantastic one. Jerry Ordway was there, and I pulled out a whole bunch of books getting ready for Heroes Con, and didn't feel like going into the closet to get this one, so I just bought this to have him sign. But Adventures of Superman, this is the book that took over the numbering for the Superman comic before Crisis. Was that 424? Yep, my memory's still good. And Marv Wolfman and Jerry Ordway took over on the book. I was going to get him to sign that. 2 books that I have no idea why somebody would cherry pick out of my collection list. They just thought they looked good or something, I mean. But now I have a complete set of this. But I picked up Atari Force 16 and 17. No idea why this disappeared out of my collection. And watch me find it now after thinking that. So, for a couple years ago there, probably last year, maybe sometime in the last 2 years, there was this meme going across the internet where it was Wonder Woman and Power Girl talking, and it had lesbian overtones and stuff. And they took it out of Brave and the Bold number 7. I was actually on a live chat doing a hangout with some guys, and somebody asked me if I had this book. And I was like, of course I do. I thought I had almost a complete set of this Brave and Bold series, at least the first 12. And I was like, let me just dig through here, and all of a sudden I did not have it. So somehow I didn't buy this and thought I did, so now I have it. And you can get in here and see what the correct dialogue was, that somebody did mess with it. It was pulling a lot of people. And then piecemeal, got these for $0.25 a piece. And still, I think this came with this quarter lot that I got, was mixed up with some other books. It should have been $6. I got it for $5. But I went through there and grabbed quite a few of the Swamp Thing books that I needed. Nothing fancy here. Just that's a fantastic cover. Look at that. This is following up on the story where John Constantine agreed to let Swamp Thing possess his body so they could have a baby with Abigail. So there's the baby. Number 91. Another beautiful cover. You can see it. And then 99. Never read this one. That's kind of weird. And then we have the Grant Morrison grabbed Mark Miller, and they did a 4-issue story on Swamp Thing later towards the end of the series, and eventually Mark Miller ended up taking it over. So now I have all of these, and a lot of people said they liked what they did with them. What they did with them, what Mark Miller ended up doing with the book. Yeah, Grant Morrison stuck around for 4 issues writing with him, and then Mark Miller just kind of went. And this was before Mark Miller became big and famous and rich and had Kick-Ass and the Ultimates and made all kinds of money. And we're running long here, so let me hurry up here. These are just independents. Albion number 6, Alan Moore, Leia Moore, miniseries that came out through Wildstorm. I hope I have the whole thing so I can start reading it. I had to get Boys number 24 because it's got that, this is the G-Men story where we have some satire on the X-Men, which is going really dark. But I always loved that Animal House homage cover to it. Planetary number 10, I saw almost a whole set, but we were doing the budget thing, so I just grabbed one of my favorite issues that actually is kind of hard. I have almost a complete second set of Planetary, and I plan on, when I get a complete set made, see where I'm at with it and stuff, I plan on getting it bound as a book, just to have something unique in my collection. I think it costs like 60 bucks to do. I cannot believe I found this for $1. Solar number 2. Number 2 and 3 of this book. I think 3 is the big one. They've kind of gotten a little pricey. So I just need number 3, and I think I'll have the my entire Valiant Jim Shooter Solar Man the Atom. I've ran across some Cerebus, number 24, a little beat up, but I could not believe it. I got this, I don't remember what I paid for this little lot, but I got a deal on it. Number 24. As anybody who watches my videos knows, I'm working on completing Hellblazer and all 300 issues of Cerebus. Both those titles ran for 300 issues, and I'm getting really close. I'm always just sort of chipping away on it, but I'm doing it on a budget and stuff. Cerebus number 51, the book that eluded a lot of people who collected Cerebus, because this was not put in a trade phone book that he was doing. In the 90s, he finally put 2-3 issues of Cerebus you could not find in trade in a 0 issue. This book is hilarious. Rodney Dangerfield, Groucho Marx, Chico Marx, Elrod, who's basically Elric, who talks like Foghorn Leghorn. It all takes place in a closet on a ship, or blow on a ship, while he's stowing away. Really good stuff. Alright, just look at the pretty covers. We'll just move along here. Sacred Wars. Dave Sim, jabbing at Marvel again. This is the issue 94 where Cerebus is accused of raping this person. I have read this book, and I'm not. If you read the book, she kind of wants him to do it, and she just keeps poking at him, poking at him, poking at him. She manipulates him, is what she does. I mean, it's open to interpretation and stuff, but it's interesting. And this is where I ended up breaking my budget. This is where I was like doing really good on money. Then I saw these, and I said, "Screw it," and went to the wind. I think this was a part of the collection where it was supposed to be $13. I got them for $10. I'm not sure, but got a bunch of Lone Wolf and Cub, where Dark Horse came in. Frank Miller did a bunch of the covers. They pulled them over here, translated them from Japan, I think. But I love my Lone Wolf and Cub. Number 3, I got a big chunk of these. And these things look fantastic when you put them on the shelf with these square-bound backs. Square-bound spines. Just fantastic. I was so happy to have these. And I may have, I just went ahead and grabbed every one they had. I may have a few of these, and they're just going to be upgrades. But I could not let these pass by when I saw them. Fantastic Frank Miller covers. Fantastic stories in here. Some brutal stuff happens. Number 29. All kinds of problems with the camera. Focus. Oh, well. Anyway, that's number 30. Yeah, it's great stuff. You can even see this. Then I couldn't believe I saw this, and I have to do a little research, but I think this is the actual 3rd issue of Strangers in Paradise. There's been several volumes, but I think this is from the original 1st volume of number 3 of Strangers in Paradise. And when I pulled it out, there's a guy beside me just kind of eyeballed me, and he was just like, "Is there any more Strangers in Paradise in there?" Because when he saw this, his eyes lit up, so I don't know. And then I grabbed these. These were impulse buys. Cry for Dawn, Return of the Goddess, number 1 through Sirius. And then Cry for Dawn when he went to, I think, no, still at Sirius, number 6. There were several stories of this that did beautiful artwork in this. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm going to work on number 2. Maybe if I can get the camera to work a little bit better. Going on to the next one will be trades and magazines that I got. Some good stuff. This is where I get excited.